I'm Professor Hugo Nel, the HOD of the Economics Department here at Rhodes. Economics is of course extremely relevant for people wanting to take a career, say in the private sector, within government. It really deals with the overall workings of the economy and the well-being of the nation, economic growth and particular problems and issues that we face, not only nationally but internationally. So any policy analyst, students being interested in working in businesses or implementing macroeconomic policies, going into the international environment, and also, very interestingly, students who want to pursue careers in financial markets. Here we're now talking about the stock exchange, fund managers, portfolio managers. We do have very strong interest from students wanting to pursue such careers. That is of course a very dynamic area of the economy, fast growing, very much driven by the latest technology, very dynamic. And we have gradually over the years shifted our offerings to specialize ultimately at the postgraduate level in those areas, and we lay the groundwork for that at the undergraduate level. So I think in short, we believe that our courses are very relevant. Rhodes, of course, is one of the oldest universities in the country, and the economics department is also a very old department where we've got a very strong tradition of excellence. We've got very good linkages with the private sector, and that contributes to our students getting a very good experience in studying economics here at Rhodes. There's a couple of things that one can highlight. I think from the teaching side, again, we must emphasize our strong traditions and heritage in terms of teaching excellence. Rhodes has always followed very good models for teaching, such as, for example, the tutorial system, and also in developing the emphasis or an emphasis towards a rounded student, getting exposure to a variety of influences. Our courses have also developed rapidly over the past couple of years, and we've got very interesting new directions that we are taking. For example, issues around language, to create an environment with students coming from different language backgrounds could still excel within a discipline where the teaching language has been traditionally very much based in purely just English. So we've developed around that. That has been made more attractive, and various other issues as well. So I think from the teaching side, students do flourish by studying economics here at Rhodes. The first and second years lay the groundwork for economics in general. We call that micro and macroeconomics. And what we have here is basically the understanding of the basic workings of the economy. Things like supply and demand, prices, production, and so on. So from that one can proceed, in our case, to specialist courses in the third year, where students start to focus on their areas of career interest. And now we're dealing with courses such as money, banking and international finance. There's a specialist course on the South African economy, econometrics, which is the quantitative side or statistical part of economics. We do emphasize econometrics or the quantitative side because what we do find is that invariably careers in economics involve research. So wherever people go, they have to do research on a particular aspect of economics. For example, modeling, making forecasts, contributing to economic analysis, and for that really one needs to be skilled on the quantitative side. So that's a very important part. So what I'm trying to explain is that as we then move into the final year or economics major, there is the opportunity for students to branch out into specialist courses. They start thinking about their careers, and that then lays the foundation for further study at honours and ultimately at masters. I did mention that years ago already we took a strategic decision to focus more of our postgraduate offerings in financial markets. And that is just really because it's so dynamic. It requires particular skills. There is a need for a more diversified workforce and professionals within the financial markets industry. And so we've taken that direction, and that's been very successful from our side. On an overall level, we find that the interest for economics is substantial. We're the biggest department in the university. The commerce students, for example, all have to do economics 1 and 2. And we also get a strong interest to take economics from the sciences, the humanities, and law. And yes, economics could be a main focus area for your study, to learn the workings of the economy, to become an economist in a variety of areas, and that is an attractive career. Or it could be as part of a package of another degree. Rhodes is one of the oldest universities in South Africa with a rich history and tradition. We have such a long history and time over which teaching methods and research and the way we do things when it comes to teaching have been developed, refined, honed according to a best practice. The university is not massive in terms of student numbers, although in economics we do have very big classes. But it is still a university where there is a fair amount of fairly direct or intimate contact between our students and the staff. The classes are not that massive. If we get to the third year, for example, lecturers know all their students. With the tutorial system, the work is applied, students get the opportunity to work with practical examples, they get feedback from the staff, and there is that intimate kind of relationship in terms of teaching and student. Yes, as indicated at the beginning, we've always been known for a very strong undergraduate degree in economics, and that lays an important foundation for our postgraduate offerings. One really has to see the whole package, starting from first year going all the way through to third year, where the process of specialization starts. And another big reason for us, I would say, for students coming to Rhodes would apply at the postgraduate level. Our honours program is a particularly rigorous and dynamic one, and we have a very large honours class as well. The demand for honours in economics is very strong, very high. Our approach in honours is really to specialise for career orientation. In other words, students would make a strategic choice right at the beginning of the course as to whether they go, for example, in an area of economic policy and analysis, whether they would focus, say, on sustainability or the environment, let's say the green economy and sustainability, which is very vibrant or relevant nowadays, or whether their ultimate career is seen as one in the financial markets. So that career focus is really defined at the outset. The honours degree is then packaged with the range of electives that we have to give effect to that. In other words, at the end of honours, students have really equipped themselves through the electives that they've taken, through the research project in that particular field for career focus. And we find that our students are extremely successful when applying for jobs because of this package. That's not the end of the line, though, for studies, because now we have the Masters in Financial Markets, which is a further development from the financial focus, which is by coursework and thesis. We meet our students for the first time when they come for first year. But that process of meeting students, the engagement with students as they start doing courses in economics, we believe that from that outset, one should start introducing the package that would ultimately lead to, say, an honors or a master's degree in economics. There is a danger, in a sense, for a new student to see the courses they take in the first year as just a very short horizon. In other words, what's going to happen in the first year. All right, they do have to focus first on what is important in the first year, but there should always be a bigger picture beyond that. And from that angle, one can clearly see where your economics courses are taking you to honors and to masters. And that's really where economics comes very relevant, particularly because of the approach that we've taken. The characteristic, I think we can say, of economics at Rhodes producing rounded graduates. A rounded graduate, and we've had extremely good feedback from industry on that. The Rhodes graduate is someone who is able to engage in debate, apply economic theory and knowledge, who could think about particular issues and form an opinion on that. And that comes through this whole process of Rhodes being a full-time, close contact university between staff and students, and there's always application. In economics, there's also a strong emphasis to develop students' writing skills. To be able to write is something that is really important in the workplace. Our students write as of day one. So at the end of their studies at Rhodes, we are looking at a well-rounded graduate. Someone who could engage in a conversation, someone who could stand up before a group and present a topic. In our honors year, we offer an honors conference where students round about this time of the year, in fact it's not next week but the week after that, where students get the opportunity to present their research projects in a conference kind of setting. In other words, through that, they are becoming skilled in making a presentation, how to address an audience, how to use particular technology to do that, how to answer questions in a question and answer session. And you know, that whole package is very, very useful and instrumental in producing the rounded Rhodes graduate. And I think that's one of the strong points that we have compared to many other universities.